Hello everyone and welcome to Teaching Methodologies, Teaching Vocabulary Like a Pro. Today we are going to review a very useful tool to learn new vocabulary inside the classroom. This new tool is known as Charades, a very popular game in which you and your students have to act or mimic someone so the others have to guess the character or the thing that you are trying to mimic. Let's begin. Alright, but before we proceed to the explanation of how charades are going to improve our classes in terms of acquiring new vocabulary, let's review 3 ways in which this game can be guided to the acquisition of new vocabulary. The first one is the teacher-centered way, in which we as teachers are supposed to be the center of attention of the whole group, and we are meant to be an example for them, so we are the ones that will motivate their participation in the exercise. Let's say that we are going to learn feelings and emotions. So, for example, I am going to mimic the emotion of sadness. Okay? However, before that, you will have to review vocabulary with your class. Okay? Then, after giving specific instructions, ask your students to write their answers down. That way they won't start yelling at each other, and the others that are passively input generators or learners, passive students who don't often participate in the class, will be and remain passive and will not assimilate and associate the meaning of the concept of the word that is about to be acquired. Alright, once you have finished giving instructions, please ask your students to work in groups. This way, they will share their answers towards this activity. Okay, but that's only the first way in which you can guide the class. So we can talk about teacher-centered way. Perfect! Once that the teacher-centered way is explained and you guide your class in that way, let's talk about the second way in which you can guide your class, which is the group-centered way. In the group-centered way, you can split your class into small groups of 3 or 4 people. The objective of this way of splitting the class into small groups is to give each group a different word or a series of words for them to act in front of class. So you will be the passive and act more as a guide, and students, each group, will act and will have the right to speak if you give the direction to speak or not. That will depend on you as a teacher. After that, students will mimic or act, and there will be a competence between groups, so they will be active during the whole class. And finally, we have the individual-centered way, in which the class will be divided into small groups of 3 or 4 students. Again, however, this time there will not be any competence between groups at all. Instead, you will make students learn group by group and compete among themselves. This way, each group will be divided a category of vocabulary or words that they have to learn in order to complete this exercise. So this is a way to use charades inside the classroom, and there is, as we already said, 3 ways to guide a class with this game. So let's review. Teacher-centered way, in which you as a teacher will be the center of the class and students will actively participate and answer to the mimicking or acting that you as teacher will do. The second one consists of the group-centered way, in which groups will compete among themselves and students will act in front of the class. And the third one that consists in the individual-centered way, where students will be individually mimicking or acting the word that they are going to learn. This case, however, is going to be done in groups, but each group is going to acquire a series of words separately. That's all for today. Thank you and bye-bye.